Good morning, Robert Scribbler, filming north and east from the top of Jeanette's Pier, about 25 to 30 feet up, looking down on some rather rough stuff out here in the North Atlantic Ocean. Officially waves in the range of about 2 to 4 feet. Might be a little larger on the sets, but nonetheless, strong east-northeast winds bringing in some crumbly, foamy, ill-formed, gravelly surf here. Did get out all by my lonesome in this cold stuff in a gravel section over here to the south. We'll look at that a little bit later. And caught some about 3 pretty cruddy waves. But nonetheless, good to get back in the water after a bit of a hiatus. Nice to feel that the pop-ups and turns are still working. I haven't lost my muscle memory, probably thanks in large part to just doing my pop-up drills and my balance board drills every single day. Yeah, nonetheless, it's getting cold out there, guys. Water temperature is about 59 degrees right here in Nags Head. It feels cold. You duck dive and you definitely feel it. You get that mini ice cream headache feeling going under the wave. It's a bit surreal. And yeah, feeling more and more like winter as we get into late fall here, as we would expect. Seems to me that the water temperatures are cooling down faster than they did last year. But nonetheless, not great surf here today for most of the east-facing beaches. And I'm not too sure about Frisco because the winds are coming in from the east-northeast now, and that's probably starting to chop up the surf down there. So I'm not sure if there's favorable conditions in many places, although your best bet would probably still be the south-facing beaches. I was jonesing to surf, didn't want to spend a long time driving, so jumped in, got surf session number 238 for me, which I'm pretty happy about. It's been a good year surfing, and in some ways cold water is pretty welcome. Feels good on the body, kind of refreshing, good on all the joints and muscles and things. Yeah, nice to get in the water. Missing my surf buds, but yeah, why the surf, so surfing alone is better than no surf at all. All right, so I'll walk back over here to my notepad. We're going to look to the south, and as you can see in front of the hotel, there's a little bit more of a sandbar. As the high tide's been coming in, a little bit less consistent, actually, strangely, in the closer to shore section here, both in the shore break, the mid-shore break, and the offshore. I did get out into this section and caught a few waves that were rideable. So, and it's like the gravel section in the north is completely disintegrated. A lot of sand being moved around right now by these onshore winds. Got some reports of a lot of sand being eroded from Rodanthe, and you can see the extent of the water up the beach here. No storm, no northeaster, just pretty stiff onshore flow and high water. We've just had this consistent erosion and movement of sand over recent days and weeks. We've also had a couple of shipwrecks. I say shipwrecks, a couple of sailboats wrecked, one off of Oregon Inlet, one off of Georgia Inlet, due in large part to the shifting sands creating unexpected shoals in certain locations. Here, for us surfers, shifting sands create unpredictable conditions for various breaks, and if you're surfing on a sandbar's always going to change, so you need to be alert. See the conditions not getting replaced, I think that the conditions are going to be the same as the last time you surfed at a certain location. Alright, so a little bit of a long introduction before I get into some of the official readings and observations from wave monitors, buoy, and model data here. Right now at Nags Head, according to, wow, a little windy here, sorry. According to the model data, waves in the range of 2 to 4 foot and choppy. We've got east northeast swell at 2.4 foot in 11 seconds. Actually feels a little bit faster than that when you're in the water due to the onshore flow, because you're just getting foam ball after foam ball coming at you. We've got east northeast winds at around 15 to 20 miles an hour right now. Air temperature is 59 degrees and ocean water temperature is the same at 59. Once those ocean water temperatures get into the 50s, it feels cold, guys. It's cold. High tide today for the east facing beaches. We're looking forward to that at between 12 and 1 right now. It's 11:27. By the time I get this report posted, it'll probably be about 10-15 minutes later. Down in Rodant, the waves are in the range of 3 to 4 foot, choppy conditions. East-southeast swell at 4.1 foot in 9 seconds. Northeast winds at 20. Excuse me. Air temperature is 59 degrees. Ocean water temperature is 64, a bit warmer down there in Rodant, a little bit more hospitable. And down in Buxton, 3 to 4 foot, choppy conditions. East-southeast swell at 4.2 foot in 9 seconds. Northeast winds at 19. Air temperature is 56, kind of chilly. Ocean water temperatures though 67, feeling a bit warmer there. Actually making Buxton look pretty appealing for a bit of a trip down south. We'll see what we can do. Maybe we can take a little trip down south tomorrow morning. Might be fun. Looks like everything's going to be choppy, but what the hell. And last of all, looking at Frisco, last report I had was 3 to 4 foot and semi-clean. With those winds shifting around more to the east, it's likely to chop up as we get in throughout the day, but nonetheless, Frisco being your best bet for some semi-clean conditions, fair conditions here on the Outer Banks. All right, now looking at the weather picture, we're looking at a very large frontal system now heading off to the east of Bermuda, stretching all the way from Puerto Rico in the Caribbean up to the middle section of Greenland. It's a massive frontal zone, huge. Don't typically see fronts this large, connecting tropical regions to Arctic regions. It's basically what this front's doing, and we've got gale force winds running all up and down this front, connecting all the major climate zones across the Atlantic Ocean. Very impressive thing to see from satellite. I posted a picture of it yesterday on Instagram, a picture provided by NASA, and the various global satellite monitors that NASA uses. It's a beautiful picture of an impressive front, and we're getting the effects of that front here in the Outer Banks on the backside with this consistent onshore flow. The trend has been really for consistent onshore flow here on the east-facing beaches, and with northerly winds, northeast winds, and sometimes northwest winds, and this crumbly surf that we keep seeing. National Hurricane Center is monitoring 2 disturbances. Here we are in mid-November, and we're still monitoring disturbances for the potential for development. One disturbance is in the Caribbean. There just appear to be a tendency for lows to develop in the eastern Caribbean at this time. This particular circulation is very disorganized, and according to the National Hurricane Center, has a 10% chance of developing. We'll keep an eye on that for you guys. And also, we've got a big, massive, I mean just huge swirl cloud. I don't know how many superlatives I can add to that, but very large swirl of clouds in the central tropical Atlantic right now. According to the National Hurricane Center, that set of like a disjointed low pressure system has a 30% chance of developing over the next 7 days. I did mention to you the reports of serious sand movement and erosion across the Outer Banks. I did want to mention the likely causes of the sand movement and erosion. Number one is the onshore flow. When you get the onshore flow here in the Outer Banks and these northerly and northeasterly winds, this pounding surf, it really does move the sand around the pond. The other factor though is sea level rise, and we've had globally about a centimeter of sea level rise over the past 12 months, and this according to the Aviso Global Sea Level Monitor. It's a satellite monitor of sea level rise. 1 centimeter does not sound like a lot, but if we had 1 centimeter per year over the course of a century, that would be 3 feet of sea level rise globally. And we're not seeing that rate of sea level rise at present. Over the longer term, present multi-decadal rates of sea level rise are 3.6 millimeters or thereabouts, and that's a little bit more than a foot of global sea level rise per year. But this year we had a rapid jump in sea level rise due in large part to the heating of the ocean, record ocean temperatures, and higher seas do increase the rate of erosion and sand movement in places like the Outer Banks. So we're seeing the effects of climate change certainly here in the Outer Banks. Sea level rise, more intense storms, and beach erosion and enhanced sand movement that we're seeing. Had reports from fellow surfers of a lot of erosion at Rodanthe, and as many of those of us living in the Outer Banks know, Rodanthe is one of the areas where we're seeing a lot of loss of houses due to the erosion of beaches, storms, and sea level rise. So I thought I'd point that out to you guys. It does affect us as surfers because the rapid movement of sand makes it a lot less predictable for us as surfers. That makes surf conditions a lot less predictable as the bars shift around rapidly, and it becomes harder to find consistent, favorable surf conditions when you got that movement of sand. All right, so thank you for joining me for a rather extended OBX wave report. I gotta say, I was missing you guys, so I thought I'd spend a little bit more time getting in depth on the wave conditions, the weather conditions, and climate conditions for you guys. And as I always do, I would like to ask you guys to please help do everything you can to help speed the transition to clean energy and thereby protect our coastlines from the impacts of climate change. What is nice to see is the proliferation of clean energy technologies is ongoing. We've got wind and solar right now that are mass deployable and becoming more and more economic year by year. And wind and solar is connected to clean transport away in the form of battery-driven transportation, and a new avenue for clean transport in the form of clean hydrogen, which is starting to get produced on a more and more mass scale due to investments in electrolyzers in Europe primarily, but more interest in electrolyzers around the world, and a lot of interest in turning green hydrogen, clean hydrogen, into combustible sources like methanol, and first for forms of transport like shipping and aircraft, but possibly moving into vehicle transport. So we had some interesting information provided to me on my cruise across the Atlantic about potentially new power plants and methanol fuel bunkering for transoceanic transportation, which looks very favorable if it's coming from green hydrogen sources. So let's do everything we can, though, to help speed the transition to clean energy and fast deploy it, get it out there, and get all those economical forms out there for everybody so it's accessible universally around the globe. And we can get to net zero hydrogen, net zero carbon emissions, and then rapidly move to net negative, where we start pulling down some carbon dioxide from the atmosphere through reforestation, sustainability measures, material production from harvesting carbon from the atmosphere and the ocean. So let's get going. Let's do it. Let's save the coastlines